I just got back from taking my family to Japan, and yes, we flew business class and stayed in incredible hotels, all using points.
And I have not heard any of this yet, so I am taking notes right along with the rest of you.
In this episode, I'm breaking down exactly how I booked this bucket list trip, flights, hotels, city, and mistakes I'd avoid if I had to do it again.
So if Japan is on your list, stay right where you are. We've got a great episode for you.
Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to the Upgraded Points Podcast.
And I'm Katie, and today we are talking all about Chris's recent trip to Japan, and I cannot wait. We also have some Hyatt news to go over real quick. Before we get to all of that, don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you are watching or listening, and be sure to share us with a travel-loving friend. So let's jump right into the Hyatt news. Before we get into Chris's trip, I wanted to mention this really quick in case you hadn't seen it. Through April 15th of this year, you can earn up to 28,000 bonus World of Hyatt points on your stays. It is a 2-tier program. You do have to register. Even if you have zero plans to stay at a Hyatt, go ahead and register. It can't hurt, and you never know when your plans are going to change. So you can earn up to 21,000 points at Hyatt properties worldwide, and that is 3,000 bonus points for every 3 nights stayed during the promotional period, which started on February 2nd and goes through April 15th. And then the second part of that is you can earn an additional 7,000 bonus points at Hyatt Place and Hyatt Select properties. Hyatt Select is not a brand I'm familiar with. I think there's only a handful of them. So really this is for Hyatt Place, which is a nice opportunity. And you can earn an additional 1,000 bonus points for every 3 nights stayed. You can combine these offers. And these include nights booked with both points and money and free night certificates. So that's a really nice bonus. If you are in the market for Hyatt Elite status, this is a nice opportunity to get some low-cost mattress runs in. So if you did 3 nights, if you found a Category 1 off-peak Hyatt Place, those would be 3,500 points per night if you were paying for those. You would earn, the 3,000 bonus points from the first section of this promotion and an additional 1,000 bonus points, which would bring your total cost to 6,500 points, or about 2,100, just over 2,100 points per night after these promotions. And if you need to pick up some extra elite nights, that's a really nice low-cost opportunity to do so. So keep that in mind. Yeah.
Start thinking about it now, so you're not, rushing at the end of the year.
Yeah, a couple years ago when I needed some elite nights, I used the Bonus Journeys promotion, and it was well worth it. Well worth it.
Nice. Well, I just stayed at what could possibly be the nicest Hyatt place in the world, so can't wait to tell you guys about that.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it. Japan has been at the top of our travel list, my family's travel list, for a long time. But planning a family trip that far away can feel pretty intimidating, especially when you're trying to do it all with points. And that's what we did.
Yeah, so today we are talking about Chris's entire trip, from the flights to the hotels to his itinerary in Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. And we have not talked about his trip yet, so I am really excited to hear about this because Japan is really high on my list.
Yeah, this isn't a theory or best case scenario kind of episode. This is exactly how it played out in real life, what we loved, and what families should know before trying to replicate it.
Awesome, let's go. So let's start with, how did you get there?
Yeah, so this is the most important part, really, and this is pretty much what dictated the entire itinerary. Anyone that searches for award seats knows that you can't really be too picky with dates, especially when you're going to somewhere as popular as Japan is right now, and when you're looking for 4 seats in business class. But on one of our award alerts we sent out a few months ago, there were seats available from Los Angeles to Osaka on Japan Airlines business class for 60,000 American airline miles, and that's what I booked.
Nice.
This was a best case scenario for us. It worked out for the dates we needed in January. And the best part about booking with American Airlines is that you can tack on a domestic flight for essentially no extra cost. So we were on the East Coast, so I found a flight from JFK to LAX to Osaka. And that flight from JFK to LAX was on the A321 with lie flat seats. So we started our trip in comfort, and then had a quick layover in Los Angeles before continuing on to Osaka. And it was just a really nice way to start the trip. This was on the 787 Dreamliner. It's not the brand new A350, which I flew last year with my wife, which is incredible. But when you're flying an airline like Japan Airlines, the service is so good.
I mean,
Yeah,
sounds
I
great.
was not complaining at all. The food was good. The way they took care of the kids, like they were like I was eating my food and the flight attendant came over and was cutting the meatballs for my son. He ordered the kids meal, and it was just like it just made the getting there just so effortless, and it was just a really nice experience.
That's awesome.
When we landed in Osaka, that's when we really started to enjoy things. We stayed at the brand new Waldorf Astoria, Osaka. I'm going to do a full review so you guys can look at all the pictures on upgradedpoints.com. This is an expensive hotel, as you might imagine, but I used
Hmm.
2 free night certificates from the Hilton Aspire card that my wife and I each have. Otherwise, it would have been about 120,000 points per night. So it's one of the more expensive hotels in the portfolio. So great use of free night certificates.
I'll say.
Yeah.
Nice score
we
there, Chris.
we were gonna pay points, but then you'll see why we didn't later in the episode. So we just decided to do a split stay in Osaka. We did 2 nights at the Waldorf Astoria, Osaka, and then 2 nights elsewhere. And when you have this Aspire card, you get diamond status, as many of us have. And this is a great property because we got an upgrade, and it comes with breakfast. So as a family on jet lag, having that breakfast right, one elevator away was really nice. But if you're considering this hotel, do it. The rooms are gorgeous. It's brand new, full of tech, but tech that works. You press one button and everything turns off. You're not chasing around the room for all the hidden lights and everything. It was cold and dark. It was great for sleeping. Like I said, the help with the getting on the schedule. For the breakfast, 2 adults are included and 1 child, and then we paid for our second child. So for 4 people, we ended up paying for 1 breakfast. But it comes with a buffet and the menu, and top tier. As a diamond, you also get to add lobster to your eggs Benedict. So that was my order every morning, along with the buffet. So it was just a really nice way to start the trip. And if you've been to Japan, any listeners that have been to Japan, you know that just hospitality and service in general is just on another level. And Waldorf Astoria exceeded that level as well. When we arrived at sometime, and it was like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and we didn't want dinner. We'd eaten on the plane, but we really wanted to go to 7-Eleven because that's what you do when you're a tourist in Japan, or everyone goes 7-Eleven.
I didn't know that
Um,
was a thing.
oh yeah.
You go to
So
7-Eleven. Okay.
we go to 7-Eleven, and you can have your dinner there. But we were going after these famous egg salad sandwiches, and so we get down, we ask the door guy, we say, "Hey, how do we get to this the 7-Eleven?" We could see on the map, but there's like 5 different levels of streets and subways and everything. It was just really hard to wrap your head around after flying for 14 hours. And he just walked us there. It was like a 10-minute walk. And the doorman walked us there. And it's like totally normal. Like their service, everything from start to finish was just so seamless.
Wow.
When we checked out, we called for bell service to have them bring our luggage down. And they're like, "Okay, well, what are you guys going somewhere else?" Like, "Yeah, we're going to another hotel." And they said, "Okay, great. What time do you want a car waiting for you?" So we're gonna leave at 12:30. So we went and had a little checked out the area and came back at 12:29, and there was a luxury van waiting with all of our luggage already in the car waiting for us. We got in and went off to our next hotel. Just like,
That's fantastic.
yeah, everything about the Waldorf Astoria Osaka
Wow.
was a 10 out of 10. If you have your free night certificate, or if you have Hilton points, or if you find a great rate, you can book it without question. So that
Seems
was
like
our
a
first step.
great reason to get that Aspire card for those free night certificates just to stay there.
You could. I mean, there are some complaints, I suppose, because it's not in the, I don't know, maybe most traditional neighborhood or whatever. It's like a kind of a new area, but it's right near the train station. So like you're minutes away from
Mhm.
anywhere you need to go, and it just Japan, the subway system is next level. So I would not, if anyone had to give you a negative, that would be what it is.
Mhm.
But there's tons of stuff to do around there, and you just an elevator ride from the subway.
That's awesome. So where'd you move
Yeah.
after that?
So this was a downgrade, believe it or not. We went to the St. Regis in Osaka,
The
and
St. Regis was the downgrade.
it
I love
was.
it. I love it.
It's well, I'm bummed because we were looking forward to this hotel because I'd never stayed at a St. Regis before. And so we were like really hyping it up. And so that's probably where, we ran into some disappointment because we were expecting so much from it.
Hmm.
But my wife, and two kids, we all agreed this was our least favorite hotel. Not that it was bad, nothing bad happened.
Right.
But there was just a lot of friction with every interaction we had with staff members. From check-in took like 45 minutes, check-out with billing errors, breakfast they forgot to bring our plates, and just little things that added up that you would not expect at a St. Regis. That being said, the price was right. We had a butler, which was really cool. So that was one thing we're looking forward to. I did some research and people said, oh yeah, we feel kind of weird having a butler, whatever it means. But if you do it, take advantage of the packing and unpacking service. And so
Really?
my wife, she's
I've
in
never
charge of
done that.
packing and unpacking. Yeah, it was so cool. So we got there and we called the butler and we told him we would like the unpacking service. He said, okay, great. I'll be right up there or let me know when you're heading out. We said, okay, we're heading out in about 20 minutes. You can come up. And we came back and they had brought over like baskets and organized everything, hung everything up. And it was just like that mental, mental baggage
Yeah.
that you carry when you're moving hotels so often, like we did on this trip, with kids. And just having that was so cool. And then obviously for the packing service was even better. We told them, okay, we're going to be going out. If you want to come up and do the packing now, we'd appreciate it. We came back and the luggages were perfectly packed, and they with all our shoes in nice little St. Regis bags. And it was a really nice touch.
It
So
was
that was
not
the
just like
positive.
super weird to have a total stranger packing and unpacking you. Like
Yeah.
I
So
don't, it just feels so weird to me. That's
that
why I've never
was
done it.
Kalini's, her biggest concern as
Yeah.
well. And I said, listen, I get it. If you if you don't want it, we don't have to do it. But this is the only hotel that we're going to be staying at that offers this service. We've never had the service before. At least let's try it out.
Yeah.
And so, but no, she liked it.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Awesome.
So we used one free night certificate from her Marriott Brilliant card from American Express that covered the 70,000 points per night. And then for the second night, I booked through Virtuoso, and that comes with breakfast, which we didn't need because we had status, but $100 credit as well, which I used in the bar. So that worked out nicely, though, the pricing and everything. But it was just, I don't know, coming from the Waldorf, which blew our minds, to then going to the St. Regis where maybe our expectations were too high. It just kind of left us with like, yeah, okay. But it is what it is. No one was complaining.
Right.
It was still like a great location, beautiful hotel. It was just, something missing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it happens. It happens.
Yeah. But that was a great location because we walked pretty much everywhere. We were there for 2 nights and we didn't think we took the train once to go to Osaka Castle. But we walked pretty much everywhere. We booked a walking tour in Viator. It was just a really nice way to get to see the city and, feel like, if you understand where you are. Because sometimes when you just get on a train and go from one place to another, you don't have no idea, where you're staying. But this was nice because there's lots to do, lots of shopping and dining and everything just steps away from the hotel.
And so you had 4 nights in Osaka?
Correct. Yep.
And was
2 at
that enough? Was that a right amount if someone was planning a trip?
Great question. I think that would be close to the minimum. We
Okay.
really liked
You needed
Osaka,
more.
and we liked our next stop in Kyoto as well. But we wanted our most time in Tokyo, and so based on hotel availability, that's what made the most sense for us. 4 nights in Osaka. So I would say that'd be a minimum.
Okay. Okay,
It's a big city.
I have one more really weird question. And this might
Go
not
ahead.
be an Osaka thing, it might be a Japan thing, and I've heard this from a couple other people. Is it true there are no trash cans?
Yeah.
Like, is that a
Uh,
thing? Is that a real thing?
it's a thing. I was actually surprised. We actually saw a couple on the walking tour, and like it made our tour guide stop and talk to us about it, because there had been so much trash from tourists lately that they had to put some in some locations. But no, it's a thing when you go out, or like if you're a local, if you create any trash while you're out, you take it home with you and throw it out, and you're responsible for your own trash. And so it's a cultural thing. There is some history about some other issues with trash cans, but in general, the your waste is your responsibility. So we quickly became comfortable bringing either eating what you buy. It's at 7-Eleven. If you eat it there, you put it in the trash there. Or if you're at a food stand at a street market, you eat there and return it back to the person. You're not really walking and eating very often. Some say it's frowned upon, some say it's not, but it's really kind of based around the trash, because unless you want to be carrying around your trash with you back to your hotel room, you kind of need to figure out where to return it. But that is true. To get out of Osaka, we went from Osaka to Kyoto. We had a couple options. So this is something we spent a lot of time with. So I'm sure some listeners may come across this as well. Osaka and Kyoto are very close. It's like a 15, 20-minute train ride. But to get to the train with 4 people, and we had 4 big luggage and carry-ons, it was just going to be like a pain to either walk. You're going to have to pay for a taxi to get there and then get on the train. And then some of the trains you need to reserve the right seat with space for your luggage. It was just going to be a lot of logistics, and it wasn't going to be worth it. So what we ended up doing, we booked a transfer on Klook. Have you used that website before? I don't know if it's
never. No.
it's a Japan thing. I don't know, but like all the guides told us to use Klook, and we used it a few times the trip, and it was actually quite nice. So we ended up paying $100 for a luxury van, which they're super common in Japan. You'll see them all over the place. Door to door from the St. Regis to our next stop in Kyoto, and it was great. We just put all the luggage in the van, and we all sat down, and I think it took us like about an hour to drive. It takes a little bit longer, but it made it so much easier.
For just $100 for all the whole 100% worth it.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's great.
The price wasn't even going to be that different, because it's still going to cost us whatever, $20 a person to go, plus we had to deal with the luggage. So this was a nice touch.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so we arrived in what I'm calling the nicest Hyatt place in the world.
Okay, so I need to hear about
Kyoto.
this.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it is not a Category 1 that you can
good question. We should look. Because I paid cash, it was like $60 or $70 a night, and I was saving my Hyatt points for Tokyo. So I booked a room with breakfast because I didn't have globalist status. And it wasn't the cheapest room they had, and it wasn't the smallest, but they let us have 4 people in this room, and I didn't take any pictures because we didn't stay in the room. But it was so small. So keep that in mind. It's a great hotel, great price, great location, but the rooms are very small, so be ready. We went back down to the desk and asked for some upgrade options, and they showed us 2 rooms. One was actually bigger in the same building, but we actually chose not the biggest option. It was in the back of the hotel. It's called the Annex. And you cross a charming little alley in Kyoto, and then you're in this little building. It has 2 or 3 floors, and it's just a really nice, simple room. In Japan, every hotel room, even high places, come with pajamas and slippers and like really nice hair dryers, and it's just like their basic level is just so high that it was just a really nice place to stay. And so we stayed there for 3 nights, I think. And this was a fan favorite. You ask my youngest what his favorite hotel was, he'll tell you it was the Hyatt Place Kyoto.
Really?
And he can't tell you why. There was no pool. There was nothing. It was just like straight off vibes. The staff was incredible. They had a great breakfast every morning, and it's on top of a subway. So anytime we had to go out, we barely even stepped outside. It was just a really nice experience. And the staff helped us ship our luggage to Tokyo because we didn't want to bring it on the bullet train with us. And to help save us money, because it's very common to ship luggage around Japan, you pay, if you need to store it for a couple days in between hotels. And they're like, no, leave it here so you don't pay the extra fee, and then we'll ship it for you in 2 days so that it'll arrive for you in Tokyo. And just like everything there was just really nice. Yeah.
And I just looked it up. It's a Category 2. So it sounds like a slamming deal.
Excellent. Yeah, it was a really good deal. Either cash or points, you can't go wrong there. In Kyoto, we did some tourist stuff. We went to the torii gates, the Fushimi Inari Taisha Shrine. Excuse my pronunciation. This is where those you pass through the thousands of red torii gates to get up to the top of the shrine. So that was a awesome, great experience. It's a little tip here. It's open 24 hours and it gets super busy. So if you are jet lagged and you're waking up at 5, 6 a.m., like my family was, get up, have breakfast, and go. Because when we walked up, we made it to the top, and there was like two people there. When we were coming down, it was so busy. So it's a great move.
Okay, well, that actually is a good segue to my next question. How was the jet lag? Because this is a big trip coming from,
Yeah,
I mean, you were coming from Brazil, but
yeah. So
coming from the
we
US.
started on the East Coast of the U.S.
Okay.
for Christmas. So I used that app called Time Shifter. I think we talked
Hmm.
about it in an
We might
episode
have mentioned it,
previously.
yeah.
So the jet lag in general was actually not bad. The worst we got was we were waking up a little bit early. The kids woke up at 4:30 one day, and they're like they didn't understand. We're like, you have jet lag, go back to sleep,
Yeah.
and they eventually did. But no, everything was great. If you guys, any listeners, try this app out. It's awesome. You plug in your flight details, and a couple days before your trip, it'll start giving you tips on how to start preparing your body. Whether that means taking a nap or don't wear sunglasses or stop drinking coffee or whatever, it'll help get you on the schedule. So that was really cool. And overall, we didn't lose anything due to jet lag.
Yeah, well, you had me until stop drinking coffee. I don't care what the app says. That's not happening. But I will try out the app, except for
Well,
that part.
it's not just that. Some of it is drink coffee. One of them, the
Okay,
common
yeah,
ones was
that sounds great.
drink a little caffeine, small amounts of caffeine often for the next 9 hours, or whatever. So it's really just
I
trying
can
to
do that.
train your body.
Okay,
Yeah, it
cool.
was fun.
Yeah. That's a great tip.
It was January and we were there, so it was cold, and we got a rainy day. It's one of those days, the rainy days we went to Team Labs. Have you heard of that?
No, what
It's
is
like
that?
it's like an interactive art exhibit kind of museum thing, and they
Is it
have a
geared
couple of
towards kids or for
adults,
everyone?
everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
My wife and I did it, last year in Tokyo. They have two options, and then we did it in this year in Kyoto with the kids, and each one's a little bit different. And the one in Kyoto was our favorite of the two we've done. We spent at least 6 hours there with the kids, running around, tons of interactive exhibits, just a really great experience. Great no matter what the weather is, but since it was a cold, rainy day, it was just really nice. And then after Kyoto, what did we do? We hopped on the bullet train to Tokyo. Yeah.
Nice. How was
So
that?
yeah, it was something we were really looking forward to. And so we booked it right at the train station. You could book it like right before you walk on, but we booked it the day before. And selected our seats so that we were on the Mount Fuji side. So we're driving at 200 and 300 kilometers per hour and Mount Fuji out the window. And it's super common to bring, snacks, bring your little bento boxes and snacks. And so it was just a really nice experience. And yeah, that was just a great way to get to Tokyo. And I think it's a nice little segue. We'll take a little break before we dive into Tokyo. What do you think?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
All right,
Be
we'll
right
be
back.
back.
Okay, welcome back. Let's jump back into Chris's trip. I think we are on Tokyo. So you just took the bullet train to Tokyo. What was your first stop?
That's right. And our first stop was at Tokyo Disneyland and
Of
DisneySea.
course, of
Shocker,
course.
right? I won't go too much into this because it literally could be its own episode. But we had so much fun. We stayed at the Hilton Tokyo Bay, which is inside the Disney complex. It's on the Disney Resort line, which is like the monorail. And this was great because we paid cash, and this is a resort technically. So with our Hilton Aspire cards, we get $200 every 6 months in resort credits.
Nice.
So our hotel was like $180 per night, and we just swiped our Aspire card, and it got wiped right off. The room was really cool. It had one of like most hotels in Japan are really small. This was the opposite. It's built for people going to Disney. It had, I think, 3 or 4 beds and a bunk bed,
Oh, wow.
and it had views of Mount Fuji, which was
Oh,
just
come on.
so
That's
cool. Yeah,
amazing.
it
Wow.
was like for $180. It was a really good experience. And then you walk down, you're on the monorail, and if anyone has been to Tokyo Disneyland or Disney Sea, everyone talks really highly of it. DisneySea is a top tier park. Um, I I don't know if I'm going to say it's the best park in the Disney portfolio, but it's definitely up there.
That's strong words coming from you.
They are. And when we did Disney Sea one day and then Tokyo Disneyland the second day, and we were just like, it was very overwhelming, especially even for theme park people like I am and my wife. But on the third day was supposed to be like an off day for us, and we're sitting there like, we need to go back. We had to go back, and it's so cheap that we did. It was after 3 p.m. It was $30 for the kids and 50 for the adults. So it's
That's
like,
great.
we're gonna spend that eating sushi and ramen anywhere else. Might as well go do it at Disney. But yeah, so we ended up doing 2.5 days, and yeah, it was really good.
That's awesome. That's a great way to kind of have what, like a half a day of just kind of rest in the middle of the trip, but then still kind of make the most of it and save some money. That's actually a good tip.
Exactly. That's what happened. What by unintentionally, it's what happened. We slept in. We didn't do anything, and we're just like walking around. We're like, okay, well, what are we gonna do now? And we were listing off our options, and I was like, I checked the price online. I was like, it's only $30. Let's go. And
Yeah,
then we did.
no, that's a smart move.
But that was the segue into the our final week in which was going to be in Tokyo. And those previous, whatever it was, 7 or 10 days, we were jumping around between a bunch of hotels, and we were exhausted already. So this was where we wanted to stay in one spot for a little bit longer. So that's why we stayed at the Conrad Tokyo, and that's why we didn't use our points back in Osaka, because I was saving them for 5 nights. And if you know the Hilton Honors Program, you know that is a sweet spot with award nights, because you book four and you get the fifth night free. So rates were 120 or 130,000 points
Ooh,
per night.
a
Yeah,
lot.
very expensive. So my wife and I, between us, we pooled our points. We had, I forget, like 300,000 or 400,000 on our in our accounts, and I had to buy the rest. But in my mind, it was worth it. It is a very nice hotel. We have a review on Upgraded Points that we'll link to. But as a Diamond member, we got upgrade. They have an executive lounge, so that means happy hour and snacks in the evening, which end up being dinner for us. Breakfast in the morning, late checkout, and excellent location. I can't recommend the Conrad Tokyo enough. It is just a great hotel, especially if you have lounge access. So for a family of four, we saved on dinner and breakfast almost every day, and so even though it was expensive, it was well worth it.
And you have your diamond status from the Hilton Aspire card, is that correct?
Yep.
I mean,
Hmm.
we've talked about that card already, what, 4 or 5 times in this
I
episode. It
know.
seems to be like a great spot,
It
the
really
Aspire
is.
card and Tokyo together at last,
Right?
or
Yeah,
Japan together at
it's
last. It
true.
seems like a really good option for this trip.
It is. And so this was a great location. It's right, like many hotels, right on top of a subway station. So for those 5 days, we were doing all the tourist stuff, and we took the kids to Shibuya Crossing, where thousands of people across at the same time. We took a bus tour. We went to the Meiji Shrine. We went to over to Harajuku and the fish markets, and we just like ate and drank and shopped, and it was fun. We didn't have too many plans, nothing like really booked, set in stone. Kind of just went with the flow. We got another rainy day, and we went to the Warner Brothers studio in Tokyo, and they have this Harry Potter exhibit,
Mhm.
and this was not on our radar at all. But when it was raining out, we started looking at what to do, blah, 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 asked some people. And it was either Team Labs, which we had done, we had done previously in Tokyo, and then we did the kids in Kyoto. It was either that or this Harry Potter thing. Oh, okay, we like Harry Potter. We're big Universal fans. And we went there, and we were blown away at how good it was. And this is it's a studio. There's no rides or anything. But we spent 4 hours there, and we could have spent longer. It was just really well done. So if there are any Harry Potter fans listening and you're going to Tokyo, add this to your list. It is really good.
Okay, my daughter actually just started reading the books, and Tokyo or Japan is like the number one place she wants to go to. So yeah, I will
Okay,
absolutely add that to our
here we go.
itinerary. Another question about the kids. Your daughter's almost the same age as my daughter, and you have a younger son as well. How did they do with eating? Because my daughter is a really picky eater, And that's one of my main concerns about planning a trip to Japan with her is how do you navigate that? Do you have any tips for that? How are your kids with eating over there?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. There's a lot of just different sights and smells and sounds. Just everyone's a little bit out of their comfort zone. So we did a lot of kind of like training in before. We watched tons of YouTube videos of families and kids and what to eat, what not to eat, blah blah blah. But my kids like sushi. We eat sushi a lot here in Brazil, so that part was easy. Um, and then the other big things we were eating were ramen. So like those two were pretty good, but there's McDonald's, there's Burger King, there's Wendy's. I mean, in an emergency or whatever, those are available. We had room service. We ordered pasta bolognese and club sandwiches one day. It's just like you'll be able to get by without you don't have to go into like full Japanese mode to your daughter. She has plenty of options.
Yeah, I'm gonna take her to Japan and we're gonna survive on room service and Wendy's.
I know.
Hey,
Well,
you gotta do what
it's
you
better
gotta
than
do.
not going to Japan. I
Exactly.
don't.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of good food, and does she like steak? I mean,
Sometimes.
yeah, okay, like the Kobe beef and Wagyu beef. It's just like
Yeah, that sounds
it's
good.
really they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
but yeah, good question.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, where'd
but
you go next?
we saved the best for last, and if anyone in the points and miles world is thinking about Tokyo, I'm sure you can guess where it was. We stayed at the Park Hyatt Tokyo for our final 2 nights, and it was so good. I'm glad we saved it for the end because it gave us something to look forward to. And unlike the St. Regis, where we had such high expectations, the Park Hyatt exceeded these even further. The hotel is so good. If you can find availability, book it. This is the hotel.
Okay.
For anyone who's not familiar, this hotel, it was already one of the best, uses for high points in the world. But it closed, and it had been closed for 19 months for renovations, and just opened in December. We went January.
You
So they
were
were
like
about
right there at the beginning, right after it
yeah,
reopened. That's
not
awesome.
even 100%. I think they said 60% back in occupancy, but there was no signs of construction or anything. One of the biggest concerns people had was, oh, it's gonna lose its charm or whatever. I had not been there before, but from what I've read and from what I saw, they did a really nice job of keeping the charm and keeping, the originality of the building and everything that people loved about it before, but just gave it a refresh. The rooms are really nice. Tech where you need it, not where you don't. The room was tied for the best toilet. You go to Japan,
Always good to
you're
know.
going to be very impressed with the toilets, the Toto
I've heard,
toilets.
yeah.
So between this and the Waldorf, they had the same toilet with the same controls and
Okay.
the seat that opens up and closes by itself and lights and sounds. It's just very nice. So we paid 40,000 high points per night. Obviously, on each end of our stay, there were rooms available for 35,000. Didn't have too much flexibility there. So we paid 40,000 points per night, and that was money well spent, points well spent. I received a guest of honor certificate, so that meant I got globalist benefits. We received an upgrade to a larger room, breakfast for everyone, even the kids, no upcharges, and a 4 p.m. late checkout, which is incredible because our flight was at 7, so that just worked out perfectly. Check in, they escort you, of course, everyone does. Take you all the way up to the 41st floor, I think, something like that, for the check-in. Then walk you all the way back to the building, and then you sit down and do all the paperwork and welcome glass of champagne, walk you up to the room, explain how everything works. It was just really nice. Our room had a view of Mount Fuji, which apparently, yeah, so nice. You can't see Mount Fuji year round. In the summer, I guess the way that the air is, it's just harder to see. But we were there in the winter, and it was a clear day, and it was just an incredible way to wake up and just have Mount Fuji out your window. So that was really cool.
Okay, so Park Hyatt Tokyo, definitely one you want to hit. Are you writing a review for that for the site?
I am. I'm working on it
Okay,
right now, so it should be
cool.
live, hopefully, or at least done by the time we we publish this episode. But for anyone who's saving this kind of hotel as a bucket list, this can be your destination if you want to. I mean, there's a incredible hotel pool on the 42nd floor, rooftop jazz bar. We had dinner at Kozu, which is like their contemporary Japanese restaurant, and it was like So nice. I felt bad for the kids because I didn't realize how nice it was gonna be. We did, like, the preset menu,
Mhm.
and it came with, champagne and wine and tastings for me and my wife, and the kids are over here like, "How many courses are coming?" They had a kids menu,
Yeah.
but it was udon, and the kids did great. I was very impressed with them, and they behaved themselves, but I could every time a course came out, they're like, "When are you guys gonna be done?"
Yeah.
But we were it was like our only moment. That was our only really fancy meal. We did a
Mhm.
lot of, ramen and sushi with the kids, but this is our only like nice meal, so we were enjoying it. It was fun, but the breakfast, if you're a
Mhm.
globalist or if you get a guest of honor, this was I think it was the best breakfast I've had at a hotel.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
10 out of 10. On our first day, I didn't know if it was because, I was a podcaster or if I was a globalist or whatever,
You're getting
but we
recognized in Japan
yeah.
there, Chris. I'm sure.
We walked down and the problem is the service is so good.
Yeah.
You feel like you're a VIP no matter who you are. And so we walked down there, it was like we were almost at the end of, breakfast service. It ends at whatever, 10:30, we got there at 10. And tell my name, like, "Oh, right this way," and they bring us back. The restaurant's packed, and they bring us back to this private room. And this room had views of Tokyo, and they came in and start serving us. The chef comes in and is presenting us some fresh baked pastries and everything. And we're like looking at ourselves like, "Oh my God, this is so nice." And then the second day was the same thing, the same incredible service, but just out in the main restaurant because the other area was full. We just happened to get lucky for that dining room. But uh, everyone feels like a VIP. And I mean, they have caviar on the buffet, on little salmon and caviar. And I ordered truffled eggs Benedict, and everything was just so good that it's literally nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Um, that's a lie. I will say there's one
You
thing.
are gonna complain. Okay.
Yeah, I will complain. Hopefully, they can fix this by the next time I go. The location. Just kidding.
Okay.
No.
No.
Well, the biggest complaint that people have is that it's not very close to a train station. So on all of our other hotels, we were on top of a train station. Take an elevator basically down into the train car. The Park Hyatt in Tokyo is about a 10 to 15-minute walk to Shinjuku, which is a nice neighborhood where we wanted to walk around anyways, but that's also where the closest train station is. So you could use that as a complaint if you wanted to, but they offer a shuttle.
Oh,
So, I mean,
yeah.
we didn't use the shuttle. We liked the walk.
Yeah, yeah.
It was good, but yeah, this was
So almost perfect. Not quite.
almost perfect. Yeah,
Almost.
maybe they'll move the hotel by the time we get
Yeah.
there, or maybe Tokyo will extend the subway line or something. But I would not even consider that add that into anyone's decision making. This is the hotel to go to.
Okay. Sounds like I need to work on my globalist status for
Yeah, or
next year so I
get
can
a
get the
guest of
free
honor,
breakfast. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Find
the
a friend
breakfast
with a
was worth
guest of
it.
honor. Oh,
Yeah.
sounds awesome. So how many nights were you in Japan in total?
I think total was like 18 nights, something like that.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yeah, and all with points. I mean, well, I'm sorry, the Hyatt place was paid with cash, but it was so cheap that
Yeah.
I don't even $70 at my son's favorite hotel in the world now.
Hey, sounds good
Yeah.
to me. Awesome.
Um, yeah, so we were super flexible because I wanted to book something better on the way home. We had booked Japan Airlines economy, Tokyo to New York on the A350, beautiful plane. I was waiting for some
Yeah.
miracle for ANA to open up on Virgin Points, and ANA actually did open up 4 seats, but with Virgin Points, you can't book it less than 14 days
Uh,
in advance. And so I
oh.
just saw them sitting there, and I didn't have enough points to transfer over to book directly. Just like, okay,
It's a bummer.
but it
Okay,
was
so
fine.
how did you get back then? You
Yeah,
you flew
well,
economy?
technically, yes.
Okay.
So when we left, well, as we were getting ready to leave, we were supposed to leave on Sunday. On Friday night, Japan Airlines canceled our flight because we were going back to New York and they had that major
Mhm.
snowstorm. So I get back to the room on Saturday night and I called Japan Airlines like, "Oh, we can't do anything because you booked American." I knew that. I don't know why I called them. So I called American and they're like, "Well, listen, the only thing we can offer you on Japan Airlines is next Thursday flying through Paris and then to New York." And I was like, "In business class?" And like, "No, in economy." I was like, you know what, just cancel it, give me my miles back, and I'll start searching for something else. So that's how I spent that Friday night, just looking for flights. I didn't even book until Saturday night because there were some options.
Hmm.
What I ended up finding was because I needed to get back to Brazil, I found flights from Honolulu through Dallas to Rio in American Airlines Premium Economy for 40,000 miles.
Okay.
And that was, in my opinion, an incredible price.
Yeah.
And so I just needed to get to Honolulu. And from Tokyo, it's really not bad. It's a 6-hour flight. So there were plenty of options. There was Japan ANA, Delta. Who else flew there? Someone else. But I had plenty of options. And so what I ended up doing, I used those Virgin miles that I was saving for ANA. I used them on Delta. It was like 30,000 or somewhere around there to go from Tokyo, Haneda to Honolulu. And then we had a nice 3-day layover in Waikiki.
I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't sound too bad.
No, it was a blessing because it was a quick flight, 6 hours, compared to whatever would have been 13 or 14 hours if we went to New York in economy. And then it was just a nice transition because it was cold in Tokyo. And we get to Hawaii and it was like nice. And we get to Brazil and it's hot. So that was nice. And just no one's complaining going to Hawaii in January.
No, and we were stuck in Snowmageddon over here.
Oh, yeah,
You
you
telling
guys
me you
were
were stuck
snowed
in
in.
Hawaii. Did not
I
feel
know.
bad for you at all,
Yeah, I
Chris.
know. I didn't even post it right away. I was like, I'm not even gonna. I'll let people think I'm really suffering at the park a little bit longer. But then, like when we were flying out of Tokyo Haneda, we had to use all our coins because everyone pays with cash in Japan, and we got this super
that's
rare,
cute.
apparently, Pikachu captain with the little Haneda airport on him.
Oh, that's adorable.
And it's super cute, and apparently it's hard to find. So it was just like everything just worked out so nice. And then we flew back, all the way from Hawaii to Rio in premium economy, which is not business class, but it was way better than economy. As you know, you're a big premium economy fan.
That was on
Just
AA,
really nice.
on American.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've flown that
was
many
on
times. I
the
find it
Dreamliner.
very comfortable.
We did. I pre-ordered the kids' meals, and it was delicious. Like I was sharing that. I think the first leg was like bolognese, and the second and then breakfast was like eggs and home fries and sausages, and like way better than the adult meal. So I don't know, a little hack there in
get the
case.
kids' meal.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but yeah, that's how we got home. That's how we traveled almost around the world, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a fantastic trip. This was been a fun episode. I hope our listeners and readers have gotten some good tips, and hopefully we'll have thrown up some photos and videos
I got
for
plenty of stuff to
everyone.
show.
So yes, I hope to do this trip next year. I don't imagine I'm going to be able to spend 18 days, but it's really nice to see real life trips that people do with families, with points and miles, staying incredibly comfortably, flying comfortably. So it's always, I love hearing other people's trips.
Our out-of-pocket costs were just on ramen and sushi conveyor belts.
I mean, that's awesome. So we actually have a question that's sort of related that I wanted to ask you. We got this from Sarah on Instagram, who says, what is the best option for dealing with train fares as a big family? Is it worth getting an unlimited pass?
Awesome question, because taking the train is the best way to get around Tokyo and Japan in general. And yeah, they do offer some unlimited passes, which can make sense. We didn't go that route because we weren't totally sure we're going to be using trains all day, every day. Like, for example, when we stayed at the St. Regis, we walked everywhere. And so it just didn't make sense for us. So what we did, my wife and I, we added money directly into our Passmo accounts. And so that's like one of the programs you can use to just tap into the subway. And so you can just add that as you need. We added a few thousand yen. And it just discounted as we used it. You tap in and tap out, so it'll tell you exactly how much you're using. And then for the kids, since they don't have cell phones and Apple Pay, what you can do, you can just go get them a physical card. And now what we had to do, what you can do, is you can buy one ticket each time, and that's going to be the cheapest way because kids are 50% of the fare. So in order to save a few hundred yen every trip, we would go and figure out which train stations we're going to and how much it's going to cost, and it was a pain. But what you should do is take your kids' passports and go to the ticket office in any major train station. And with the passport, then you can get a kid's card that will cost 50%. I think I have it here. And it actually has, yeah, a little Suica card. So ours was Passmo and theirs was Suica. But then you can just fill this up with however many yen that you want. And every time they tap it, it'll make a cute little bird sound and they get 50% off. So instead of us doing the mental math, trying to figure out how many train stations we're going to get every time, we just put a balance on there, filled it up, and then they spent that. And so that was how we did it. I think it was the best option for us. And the beauty about these cards is you can use these in many places besides the subway. For example, like dining and like a lot of ramen stations, you could just tap your train pass and it'll deduct from that balance. So that's what we did. Yeah, we didn't think the unlimited pass was going to be worth it for us. But yeah, if you're going to do it and you want to save time, make sure you bring your passport so you can get the 50% off cards for the kids.
So great tip. Thank you, Sarah, for that question. If you have questions that you would like to submit for us to answer on air, you can reach us at podcast@upgradedpoints.com. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you're watching or listening. And be sure to share with a travel-loving friend. This has been a fun one, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing your trip. And we will see you next week.